Get out on the beat. 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 Get out on the beat.
Take control of your mind and your thoughts and focus on your breathing. Feel the power of you, the real you, controlling your breathing. The real you is always present right now. You are more powerful than you can ever begin to imagine because you get to focus on the greatest gift ever. Now, your presence, where your attention is being drawn to now, no matter what's going on outside your mind. Feel the power of your breathing. There are astronomical numbers of things going on in one breath. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful your determination is. So let's use that power. Let's use that third eye, that mind's eye that we all have. Let's use it right now. And let's see ourselves doing the best we can on all the stretches and exercises today in our gym period. Gym. GYM. Grow your mind. And here we are in the gym of life. Growing our minds and growing our bodies. Taking control of what we truly are. Simply being. Human being. the most powerful energy thing in the universe. That's who you really are. So see yourself right now. See it in your mind. Because whatever you see in your mind, you can make real with your eyes open. Everything created with your eyes closed can be made real with your eyes open.
Yeah. Woo! Let's go.
Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time.
Yeah.
And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time.
Clap.
Party rock is in the house tonight.
Oh.
Everybody just have a good time.
I can feel it.
And we gon' make you lose your mind.
Yeah.
We just wanna see you
Shake that.
In the club, party rock. Looking for your girl, she on me jock. Now stop when we in the spot. Booty moving weight like she on the block. With a drink, I got to know. Top jeans tattoo, cause I'm rock raw. Half black, half white, diamond now. Gang of money, open up.
Yeah, I'm running through these halls like Drano. I got that devilish flow, rock and roll, no halo. We party rock. Yeah, that's the crew that I'm repping on a rise to the top. No lead in our Zeppelin. Hey,
Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time.
yeah.
And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time.
Yo,
Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time.
feel it,
And we
man.
gon' make you lose your mind. We just wanna see you
Shake that.
No, it's Messi! It's glorious! And Iniesta.
Good morning, guys. Today we're introduced to Will Smith, and he shares with us one of the things that has helped him so much, and it is the idea of living a life of service. And he goes on to tell us that it's the purest form of joy anyone can experience. And another thing he reminds us of is the fact that we are meant to serve at least one other person. We're meant to be shared, as we are all each part of the same thing, that source that we all come from. So think about your life today. How many people are you going to serve? Or how many people do you affect through your daily actions? And even deeper through your choices, and even deeper through your thoughts. So remember today, as you go on about your day, as you prepare for it, you are going to be in service, whether you know it or not, of at least one other person, just through your thoughts and actions. Have a great morning, everyone.
So good to be here with all of you today. I want to talk about this whole idea of reinvention. Here's my belief, and when this kind of topic came up, I started to think about, my journey, and I actually think that life is just a constant state of reinvention. It truly is, and we have a choice of how that's going to play out, because reinvention equals, to me, it equals progress, it equals growth. Put it the other way around. If you want growth, if you want progress in life, then it's going to require us to reinvent ourselves, and it doesn't have to be some crazy go in a cocoon and sprout out a butterfly kind of perspective, but it can, because I think that our reinvention can be one of two ways. It can be evolutionary, incremental, if you will, or it can be revolutionary. I mean, a huge jump. And I'll give you some for instances, because I think that this is important for us to understand, that there are triggers that will cause us to reinvent ourselves. And those triggers can simply be something like choice, okay? Choosing to do something. When I was working for the big consulting firm in downtown Los Angeles, I realized I was miserable. I realized I was living someone else's life. And so I made a choice. I walked in and I quit. I said, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore. It was choice. Okay. Another trigger could be events. We had the pandemic. I had cancer. It could be a marriage. It could be a birth of a child or a grandchild. It could be a breakup. There are events in our life that allow us to start to look at things and say, I need to re-examine. And I'm going to give you a framework to walk through this, because when I look back on my moments of reinvention throughout life, there's a pattern. There's a pattern in a process that I've used throughout, whether it's recovering from the Ponzi scheme or anything else. I think that there's a pattern and a process to use and make it happen. Now, one of the things to realize is interesting. Someone, Joan, put retirement. It is an event in life. Here's an interesting thing from a guy who talks money. Most of my work is to help people create wealth, to create financial freedom, to give them the affluence way. Here's the interesting thing. When we transition to retirement and we're starting to try and spend that wealth, man, so many people have a hard time with it. There's a reinvention point right there in doing that. The other thing that can trigger reinvention is health. Many of you know that in 2019, I was diagnosed with bladder cancer, and I'm happy to say I'm 2 years clear and clean after 3 surgeries, 4 tumors, and 43 treatments. But I remember as I spiraled down into the despair, the darkness, the blame, the search for, why did I get cancer? No one in my family had cancer. I wasn't a drinker. I wasn't a smoker. I didn't have the risk factors. Why did this happen to me? What is it that happened to me? And many of us may be looking at our current circumstances and looking for a place to blame, and looking for a place to point the finger, to look for the why, if you will. And people a lot of times talk about that why. Here's what I realized. The more I spent time looking backwards in my past to try and find the reason for the cancer, the darker, the more despair, and the more I spiraled down. And it wasn't until I said to myself and asked the question, what if the reason for the cancer isn't behind me, but it's in front of me? What if my why is yet to be defined? Now that empowers me, and that gives me the opportunity to look at it through a different eyes. But in there was a moment of reinvention, a moment of examination, and a process where we need to intentionally integrate what we do. I think about this whole thing from this perspective. We're a pound of clay, and we're outside of ourselves. We're the sculptor, and we get a chance to chip away the things that we don't want, and to leave the things that we choose to have. And that's where reinvention comes from. So here's the thing, as I think one of the first things that we need to bring into our place, there's 3 things that it takes. And the first is awareness. If I'm truly not aware of what's going on. And I'm just kind of going through life. We got in a boat, we're on a current, we don't have rudders, we don't have oars, and we're just floating. We're just floating. The problem is that we then end up, like Bronnie Ware said in her book, The 7 Regrets of Dying. One of the biggest regrets was living someone else's life. So we end up living a life that wasn't meant for us. And so what ends up happening is that I think ultimately, if we're not careful here, you end up in a situation where you're living life, and this might be confronting for some of you, but the empowering thing is that with that, it gives you the control back. We might be living life oblivious. We might be living life mildly miserable. I remember a dear friend of mine who got in a car accident, got hit by a car. He had a hip problem. He was in the martial arts with me, and he lived with the pain in his hip for decades. And then all of a sudden he went and had a surgery, not a hip replacement, but a special surgery. And he didn't walk out, but after he started walking, he looked at me and he said, I had no idea how much pain I got used to. And how many of us, we get used to what's going on in life and we get used to the pain. It's just our existence and we just keep going. Whereas what ends up happening is that there's two things that I think will help us pass through this phase. And the first is this, is to make sure that you come at it with this idea of curiosity, with that child's mind to say, I'm just curious. I love the question of what if it were possible? What if it was possible? What if it were possible for you to have $1 million a year? What if it was possible for you to live a vibrant and healthy life? What if it was possible for you to have a wonderful, loving relationship? Because in the end, it is. And when it is, you need to do the second thing, and that is to make a decision.
Are you ready to bubble? Everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, bubbling, everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 bubbling, dance all night, we go dance all night. Yo, are you ready to bubble? Dance all night, we go dance all night. Ha ha, we want this year. Dance all night, we go dance all night. Dance all, dance all, dance all, dance. All right, y'all. Are you ready to bubble? Bubbling, everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, bubbling, everybody bubbling, little bubble, bubble, bubbling, bubbling, everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, little bubble, bubbling, yo. Bubbly, 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 bum bum bum, 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 bubbly, 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 bum bubble, bubble, bubble. All right, make way when you see me pass through, and they come with me too. You don't know what to do. Drinks up, hands up, everything in the air. Everybody done drunk, there's a party over here. That's right, we drink just bubbling. Watch how we wine while the DJ juggling. He got the whole dance floor just bubbling. Champagne bottles just popping. We going on, I guess the night we not stopping. Let's party hard tonight. So going non-stop until the sunlight. We going non-stop until the sunlight. The club done full, only woman inside. It's a good night to get we head tight. It's a good night to get we head tight. Couple up this party going for a flight. Green drinks, we don't care, we go down.
Iniesta. And Messi is waiting. Messi's got it. And Messi has dinked it into the back of the net. Barcelona.
Good afternoon, guys. You know, when we really become aware of just how powerful we are in our thoughts, our choices, and our actions, and when we understand that we are meant to serve more than just ourselves, we become extremely powerful and effective in all our relationships. And relationships are the things that will determine our emotional well-being, even our physical well-being, because we're all so connected. So when we go on this path to understand and live a life that is more than just for ourselves, we start to really become more and more humble and reverent to the fact that we are so important to each other. But then we start to realize just the pure joy of just being our best selves and developing ourselves with that purpose. So we have to show that determination each and every choice we make. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Is it possible that simply changing the way you visualize can dramatically change your reality? In this video, we're diving into the compelling world of visualization. This isn't just about daydreaming or idle fantasies. It's a practical, powerful approach to achieving personal and professional milestones. We're talking about a technique that has the potential to reshape your life's trajectory, from career success to personal well-being. The stakes are more than just dreams. They're about the reality that you live every day. Mastering this visualization technique can be the key to unlocking unprecedented levels of success and fulfillment in your life. Imagine transforming your aspirations into tangible achievements simply by harnessing the power of your mind. But here's the intriguing part. There's a specific way to visualize that many people don't know about. It's a twist that can exponentially increase the effectiveness of this technique. What is this unique approach and how can it shift your reality? Stay with us as we reveal the secrets to effective visualization that can turn your dreams into reality. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I watch these videos every day because I need them for motivation. Being around successful entrepreneurs every morning helps me believe that I can do great things too. It's like your morning coffee, but for your goals, kickstarting your day with a blast of positivity. So here is a challenge for you. Try watching one video every morning for the next 30 days. And let's find out together if they help you do great things too. If you're in, leave a hashtag BELIEVE in the comments below so I can celebrate with you. So today, let's learn how you can visualize. Enjoy.
Thoughts are everywhere, and we pull thoughts into our mind and we build pictures or images in our mind.
Okay.
What we want to understand is that's a non-physical side of ourself that's doing that. If I can build an image of something in my mind, I'm quite capable of building a physical replica of it in my world. So if I build an image of me as a happy, relaxed person, I can live like that. If I build an image of myself as being prosperous, I can become prosperous.
So if we think rich, we will be rich.
Absolutely. We're already rich, just short of money.
Okay, those of us that like to acquire more money and or happiness or whatever we see success, those of us that want to reach the goals that we've set for ourselves, we do it first by...
Well, the first thing you do is sit down and decide what you want. If it's money you want, how much money?
Lots of money.
Well, nobody knows how much lots is. Okay. So you've got to be specific.
Okay.
You write down on a card exactly what you want. And you carry that card around and read it often. Now, this is what I learned in this book, Think and Grow Rich, and it's what I teach in the seminars. I'll teach people how to set goals. But you decide exactly what you want. And then you start to think. Now, you're going to have thoughts come to your mind of why you can't get it. Mm-hmm. You have the ability in your conscious mind to reject that idea, kick it out of your mind. Thinking of why you can't do something is never going to do you any good. And keep thinking until you start to think of thoughts of how you can do it. And the way will be shown to you. It comes in the form of images in our mind. Think of how you can and not why you can't.
Rule number 2 is obliterate your old identity with Jen Sincero.
Do you think we have to go through an identity shift in order to see money differently and to be able to receive it differently?
I think you do. Absolutely. That's a really great way to go at it.
So what was your, the key words around your identity with money when you didn't have much versus the key words that you would speak about within yourself or what money is once you started to unlock more money?
Well, it wasn't necessarily around identity, my words, because I did have 2 very serious mantras. But there was a lot of visualizing myself with money. Like I wrote about buying the Audi and you are a badass. And like, I'm not the kind of person who drives an Audi. Are you kidding me? And almost feeling like the guy who is test drove it with me would be like, get out of here. I know who you are.
You can't afford this.
Exactly. So, but my mantra is really before I started making money, I said, I can't afford it to pretty much anything you could throw at me. My first words out of my mouth were, I can't afford it. And
what are we doing when we're saying that, whether it's true or not true?
We are buying into an identity as somebody who can't afford stuff. We are also proving it. What you speak, you want to prove because you want to be right. And it is sort of the foundation of your reality. So when I say I can't afford it 100 times a day, I'm subconsciously pulling in proof. Look at the car I'm driving. I'm living in an alley. I make this much money a year. I'm building all the foundational blocks to prove that I can't afford it. And that becomes my reality. And then that becomes I like to call it familiarity zone because comfort zones are not comfortable.
Interesting.
Right? So then I'm just proving it over and over and over. And that becomes my reality. And then to shift out of that literally means to obliterate your reality and your identity, right? So that's
it's like an explosion. It's like you have to have a death, an explosion, a bomb almost to go off.
It does. And it's killing off your old identity. And this is why I'm going to totally go off on a segue here. But this is why the number one question I get at my talks is, what do you do when the people closest to you don't support your growth? And the main reason they don't support it is because you're killing off the person they love.
Oh, man.
I mean, think about that. You're changing who you are and they're comfortable with who you are and they feel that's their reality too, is caught up in who you are being. So when you decide to change, you're killing off their buddy or their whatever, and you're screwing up their reality because you fit into theirs.
Rule number 3 is stop playing the program with Bruce Lipton.
You know the movie The Matrix?
Yeah.
Well, it's not science fiction, folks. The Matrix is a documentary. What do you mean documentary? I said, what's the premise? Oh, the premise is everybody's been programmed. I go, well, that's a fact of life. Every human has been programmed. It's the way nature designs how you can become a member of a family and a community. Okay, and I go, so everybody's been programmed. I go, yeah. But, in the movie, you could take a red pill and get out of the program. Oh, most of you actually have taken the red pill, and you did get out of the program. Not necessarily for a long time, but you stepped out. I said, what was that red pill? You ready? When you fell in love with somebody. I go, what do you mean? I go, your life was blah, 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 blah. You meet somebody. 24 hours later, your attitude is, oh, life's beautiful, man. I love life. Food is great, the music's great, the sex is wonderful, everything is great, I'm so in love. I go, what? How'd you do that after blah, 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 blah? In just 24 hours. Science has recognized that when you fall in love, you stop thinking. You stay what is called mindful. You are what is called staying present. What was the point? You stopped thinking and you kept your consciousness right there in the front. Why? Well, if you've been waiting for this person your whole life and then they show up, this is not the time to think and disconnect. It's time to be there. So you stop thinking. Then what? You stop playing the program first time in your life. Stop playing it dead right out. I say, what happened? Well, now you're creating from what? Not subconscious. Creating from the conscious. What's that? Wishes and desires. So what is the honeymoon? Heaven on earth. Like, oh, guess what the jokey part here is? You could have that every day. It's your damn program that takes you away from it. It's not that you can't have it. All you have to do is stop playing the program, and then you got the control back again. And the issue about that is we can change those programs, and we can take power back by rewriting programs. What if your programs actually reflected the same thing that you have as wishes and desires in your conscious mind? Think about for 1 second. What if my conscious mind's wishes and desires were also programs in my subconscious mind? You ready? Whether you're thinking or whether you're awake, guess what? You're going to be going to the same wishes and desires. All of a sudden it says, what does that mean? It says simply this. It says that when you stop thinking, you are playing from wishes and desires. When you are thinking, you play from program. But if your program has the same wish and desire, then it doesn't make a difference if you're thinking or you're not thinking. Why? You're still going to the same place. And I say, so what would that be? Oh, I'll give you an example. I'm doing it right now. What am I doing? I couldn't get a relationship off the ground for nearly 50 years until I rewrote those dysfunctional programs that I got from my father. And once I rewrote them, I was now available to have a love experience. And I met my partner, Margaret, and guess what? 28 years of everyday honeymoon. Every day, I always joke, every stinking day is honeymoon. and I love it. And I go, why? I live in a world like you do. It's crazy. All that stuff is going on out there. Does it come into my particular life? Absolutely not. Why? It's not in my creative vision. None of that stuff is there. Am I in the world? Yeah, but it's not necessarily not participating in all the other crazy people stuff. Why? Because those programs that would have engaged me have been rewritten. And now I have the power. And I say, so what did I do? Well, I chose honeymoon. Yeah, what was that? Wishes and desires. Hi, I'm Bruce Lipton, author of the best-selling books, The Biology of Belief, Spontaneous Evolution, and The Honeymoon Effect. I'm here to thank Evan Carmichael for featuring me on his YouTube channel, and I want to let you know that Evan is giving away links where you can watch the first episodes of my special Gaia series entitled Inner Evolution for free. Evan is making this offer to thank you for watching this video. You will find the links in the description section below. Thank you.
Rule number 4 is dream with the lid off with Mel Robbins.
Give yourself permission to dream with the lid off. This is really important. And the reason why this is important is because I guarantee you that right now you are not even allowing yourself to fully dream or think about or set goals that are truly aligned with what you deeply want in your heart. That you aren't even able to manifest properly because you're not even honest with yourself about what you actually want. This is a really common thing because you're allowing your self-doubt, you are allowing your fears, your anxiety, your insecurity, you're allowing where you are to dictate and limit where you want to go. And so step 1, super important. You must allow yourself, give yourself permission to start dreaming with the lid off. Now, the scientific reason why this is so important is because you have a filter in your brain called the reticular activity system. I write about the RAS for short, the reticular activity system, extensively in the High 5 Habit. The RAS is a filter in your mind, and you can do simple things that change the structure of that filter. In fact, the filter in your mind, the RAS, is always changing. So one thing that you can do in order to teach yourself how to dream with the lid off is to adopt a simple habit. Every single morning, I do a very simple thing. I write down 5 things that I want. That's it. When I start my day, After I get up when the alarm rings, I make my bed, I pull on my exercise clothes, I set an intention, I high-five myself in the mirror, I then go out into the kitchen, I crack open my high-five journal, and then inside the journal there are prompts that walk me through the steps of visualizing. And the first prompt is dream with the lid off. Set your spirit free. Write down 5 things every morning that you want. And this is important because when you get what you want out of your head and you physically put them on a piece of paper, research shows that you're 42% more likely to achieve those goals simply by writing them down. That's pretty cool. Secondly, your mind is paying attention. And when you take deliberate action and you write down what you want, you are signaling to your brain that you deserve to have these things. You are signaling to your brain that you do want those things. You're not just going to think about them. These are things that matter to you. And that helps train your mind to allow you to let the desires flow through you. Because right now, you're not manifesting properly because you're not even allowing yourself to dream with the lid off. So that's
Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
Barcelona sees on it with David Villa, and he's found Messi, who swivels in the penalty area. Messi again, it's crept in, it's 2. Broke the wall.
Good evening, guys. I want to share with you a story that highlights the importance of us having a sense of possessing ourselves before we're able to share and service others. And I want to share a story that comes from Stephen Covey in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He gives an example where his daughter, when she was young, had received a gift from others for her birthday. And she didn't want to share her toy, her new gift, with those people that had bought it for her. And you could see him getting very frustrated as it went on and she wouldn't share. But in the end, she simply was demonstrating the fact that she needed to feel that sense of possessing the thing first before she was ready to share it. So those of you that are parents can probably relate to young children. They don't want to share until they feel that sense of it's mine first. So we have to be like that with ourselves. We got to possess ourselves before we share ourselves. Have a great evening, everyone.
If you keep thinking the same thoughts, if you keep making the same choices, you keep doing the same things, you keep creating the same experience, you keep feeling the same emotions, I don't know, let's be conservative. If you keep thinking the same If you keep thinking the same thoughts, if you keep making the same choices, you keep doing the same things, you keep creating the same experiences, you keep feeling the same emotions, I don't know, let's be conservative. You do that for 10 years. You would have to agree with me then that it would become more automatic, it would become more unconscious. Your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That is it. And your personality is made of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So keep thinking the same way, keep acting the same way, keep feeling the same way. Your personality is the same and your personal reality would be the same as well. So if you wanted to change your life, if you wanted to change your personal reality, you would have to change your personality. And then you'd have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and decide if you really want to believe that any longer. And when does the story end? It's that moment that you become so conscious of that thought. You're so tired of it. You're so aware of it that you would never let it slip by your awareness ever again.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because running the business is hard, and waking up every day and getting to work when you're all by yourself is hard. And the thing that saved me, that continues to inspire me, motivate me, give me hope, inspiration, ideas, is looking at the stories of people who've done a lot more than me. And I learn strategies, I get motivation, and it gets me to believe in myself to go off and attack the day. And so I hope this video inspires you to do the same as well. So today, this one from one of the best, Joe Dispenza, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
You catch yourself complaining and blaming and making excuses and feeling sorry for yourself, and that's been your unconscious program. Then the moment you become conscious of those unconscious behaviors, you're out of the program. You're only in the program when you're unconscious, and so it takes an enormous amount of energy and awareness to separate from those programs. And then there's those emotions that we feel every single day that are so familiar to us that we don't even know what they are. We just feel guilty. We don't even know it's guilt. It's just how we feel. And the stronger the emotions that we have to experiences in our life, the more altered we are inside of us. When the chemistry changes inside of us, the brain narrows the focus on the cause and takes a snapshot or a series of snapshots, and that's called a long-term memory. And so then it makes total sense then that a person, by every time they relive that event in their life, they're making the same chemistry in their brain and their body, and their body's literally believing it's living that experience over and over again. And now the body's so in the past that it's the mind of the past. So then the act of becoming so conscious that you don't go unconscious is a changing of consciousness. How many times do we have to forget until we stop forgetting and start remembering? That is the moment of change.
Rule number 2 is master your emotions.
If you're living in stress and you're living in survival and that system is switched on, then everything will be a threat. Everything will be a danger. Everything will be a reason to rush, to be impatient, to be frustrated, to be judgmental, because that's the consciousness, that's the emotion we're living by. So now you have a problem with a coworker, you have a problem with your partner, whatever it is that you used as an example, and you have to give a presentation. Now you really have one of two choices. Either be victimized by those conditions in your life and you stay in that emotional state, and I'll say to you, Jay, why are you that way? Well, I'm this way because of this person, this circumstance. The person or circumstance is controlling the way I feel and the way I think. Anything that controls the way I feel and the way I think, I'm victim to, right? Okay. Or I actually can be a creator now. Okay, so when it's the hardest, it matters the most. Okay, so there's going to be a story a valid story that's going to go along with those emotions that you're going to have to give up, that you can address at another time from a different state. If you're altered in that state and you say something, you do something, you write the email, you send the text, you'll always regret it. You'll always say, I should have never said that. I should have never done that. We got to learn that we're in an altered state at that time. So there's only one of two choices. You either stay there the whole day and tell everybody that story, or you say, okay, let me take a moment. Remember that this is the experiment called life. Okay, let me practice getting relaxed in my heart. Let me slow the animal down. Let me practice that. Take a few minutes. Now, let me breathe. Let me get my state back. Let me change everything. Okay, let me remember who I am, who I want to be when I open my eyes, and let me practice that again. Now, even if you had to do that 10 times in one day, I would say it was a day worth living. I would say it was a day worth living. And when we do walking meditations, in our retreats, we're doing walking meditations so you can practice doing it with your eyes open.
Yes.
Like if you're going to be relaxed in your heart and awake in your brain, and you can do it with your eyes closed, okay, let's take it out for a test drive.
Yeah.
Let me open my eyes. Let me pay a little bit more attention to my inner world. Let me practice feeling this feeling. Let me practice feeling this way, and let my brain do what it does. Let me let me change my physiology. Let me change my state. Let me walk as the healed person. Let me walk as the abundant person. Let me walk as if my prayers are answered. Let me walk in this state. If I keep practicing that over and over, it's going to become a habit, right?
Yeah.
And so we hit it as many ways as we can. We have at least 7 or 8 different breaths that we do because we see how they all work in the brain. We have all kinds of meditations. We have sitting meditations. We have standing and walking meditations. We have laying down meditations because we want you to be able to do it with your eyes open, with your eyes closed, standing, walking, any way you can so that you don't default and return back to that person. Now, if you do default, you didn't fail. That's a program. You just went unconscious. And how many times do we have to forget until we stop forgetting and start remembering? That's the moment of change. No one cares how many times you fell off the bicycle. If you ride the bicycle now, you ride the bike. So it's the constant process every single day. And I think that sometimes we look for evidence in our life and it hasn't happened. And I think it's so important that we still show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where you're changing the most. And when you get to that point where you could care less if it happens or not, because you feel so happy, so grateful for who you are, get ready because your life is going to begin to change in magical ways.
Rule number 3 is create synchronicities.
When a person can create the right type of energy, the right type of frequency from the field, and there's a vibrational match between their energy and whatever they want in their life, all of a sudden they start drawing experiences to them. Out of nowhere, they get the phone call, hey, I got synchronicity. That's synchronicity. Why? Because you're synchronizing your energy to a possibility in your life. Now, in the quantum, every thought has a frequency. So when a person has the thought of their new job and they can feel the frequency of that thought, it wouldn't be lack, it wouldn't be separation, it wouldn't be frustration. The frequency of the thought of a new job would create the feeling of euphoria, excitement, bliss, gratitude. And thoughts tend to be electric in the quantum field, and feelings tend to be magnetic. And now we teach people how to create a Wi-Fi signal when they connect to the field, and they literally change their energy. The thought being the electrical charge, the feeling being the magnetic charge, and how you think and how you feel is broadcasting energy. Now, there's a little bit more that has to happen because you have to have coherence in your brain. The brain's got to be very orderly, and it's emitting a field. And the heart,
which it can do with stress.
Stress is static. Stress, you disconnect because all of your attention is going on everything physical and material, and you're drawing from this energy that's surrounding your body, and you're turning it into chemistry, and now you're isolated, you're separate. So we teach people how to get that brain coherence going and that heart coherence going, and coherence is rhythm and order. And now you have this Wi-Fi signal, and when there's a vibrational match, or you've synchronized your energy to synchronicity, those serendipities, those coincidences, those synchronicities, those opportunities start coming to you. Now, what's the cool part about that it seems like there's a shortening of time between the thought of what you want and the experience of what you want, between cause and effect. When we create from the field instead of from matter, if we get really good at it, then the feedback that we experience in our life is letting us know that we're doing something correctly. And when you start getting the phone call or the email or the introduction to somebody and you scratch your head and you go, oh my God, I'm the creator of my life. And all of a sudden, the next day, your belief in what's possible grows dramatically. So when you sit down to do it the next time, you get better at it. And all of a sudden, more synchronicities start to happen. And so the side effect of it is, and this is what I'm proud of in our community, is that people do the work. They don't do it because they have to do it. They do it because they don't want the magic to end. They want the synchronicities to keep happening. Now,
rule number 4 is believe in yourself.
if you believe in yourself, it means you have to believe in possibility. And if you believe in possibility, you're going to have to believe in yourself. And so something really cool happens when you do this that I just discovered recently. Just watching people at our week-long events, because you got to go all in. You got to go all in. And it's 7 days and it's a lot and it's super intense. And there's times where you don't want to show up because I'm pushing people across the river of change. There comes a moment where people keep showing up for themselves. They keep showing up for themselves in spite of the weather, in spite of their foot hurting, in spite of their bad dream, in spite of the whatever, their fight with or whoever. They keep showing up. They get really worthy to receive. They feel really worthy, like I am worthy to receive this gift. And the universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving, right? So we got to get to that point because so many people who are in lack somehow don't feel worthy, right? So the abundance then becomes the sign that you finally become worthy. And for the soul, it's not about the abundance. It's about mastering your worthiness. And the reflection is the things that you accumulate. Listen, my dad used to say this to me all the time. He'd say, wait a second. Just sit down with me here. If anybody else can do it, you could do it also.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is stay present.
I would love to.
And we end as we begin. Legs crossed. Back straight. Eyes closed. Breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Well, the truth is, there's no ending. There's no beginning. Today we start beginning like you always do. With our eyes closed. Imagine going into the future. Only you can do that. Only we can do that. It's all possible through the power of our mind and our thoughts. But we have to control that mind and those thoughts. Because even they are not who we really are. To control our minds, to master our minds, we have to simply be here, now, present. That's our super determination. Imagine all of us united with our thoughts, mind and body as one, all together, right now. That in itself is infinite intelligence. So as we end today, with our eyes closed, back straight, legs crossed, you know the truth. We're not really ending. It's never really over. We were all born to win. To be happy, peaceful, loving, kind, caring, mind wealthy, no matter what. That's the truth. The way we do that is now. Right now. That's why they call it presence. This is the greatest gift we have. Right